I'm going to do a pro tip, and it's a little kind of close to my heart, and it's something that I feel like no one has said yet. I think people have said what to do, but I feel like we haven't gotten really to the root cause of why we should do it.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
For today's pro tip, I want to share with you something that I think we've all heard what to do or how to do, but we've never really talked about the why, and specifically the why from this angle. And that comes down to your church signage. And more specifically, I want to share with you about the no food or drink sign that is outside of your sanctuary, your worship hall, your auditorium, whatever you call it. Many churches still have this. It's a sign that as you walk in the church, before you go into the main worship center or whatever you call it, it says no food or drinks. And in the church communications group and a lot of the coaches that I talk to and mentors, they say that this is an unwelcoming thing. It's a don't. It's negative. You don't want people seeing that as they come in. And that is absolutely true. It is pretty much unwelcoming. People don't feel welcome there. But oftentimes we don't understand why. And until you have that why, that change is not going to come. Still, church after church that I visit, the sign outside the door says no food or drink. And I understand where you're coming from. You're coming from a place of, we have invested so much in this sanctuary. I'm just going to call it a sanctuary. I'm Baptist. That's what all my churches have ever called it. We invested a lot of money in this sanctuary. We just put in new carpet. We have cloth chairs. Maybe we have padding on our pews. And we don't want them to get stained. We want them to look good. Really, we want them to look good for our visitors. Therefore, we don't want food or drink in our auditorium or in our sanctuary. So to let people know that we want to be good stewards of our investment and have this carpet, have this whatever, last as long as possible, we don't want any food or drink in our sanctuary. Now that's why, and I understand it. Like I said, you want to be a good steward of your investment. You don't want to be replacing your carpet every 3 to 4 years. I get that. But you have to look beyond the what you're doing to the feeling that it's imposing. Our friend Jonathan Mom, who was just on the podcast a few weeks ago, co-wrote a book that just released called The Comeback Effect. And along with a couple other things that I think God is showing me in my life, we have to realize that what we do has an impact on someone's feeling. And especially if you study marketing for any amount of time, you realize that people don't buy things for the features. They don't buy things for the doodads. They buy things for how they make them feel. And some of us do feel better when we buy things with lots of features. But we feel better because we buy it. And we go to a church that we feel welcomed in. We feel good. We go to the movie theater that makes us feel good. Even in the small towns, we were within driving distance of multiple movie theaters. And we went to the one that made us feel the best. And so, we would drive past one theater to go to another theater that we felt more comfortable in. It all comes down to feeling. And so when we talk about the no food or drink sign, you have to really examine what kind of feeling does it give you. And for most people, it brings about the feeling of negativity, and I'll tell you why. You may say, yes, we want to be good stewards of our resources, and so we want the feeling of, well, these people are protecting their tithing and offering. We're protecting their investment or our investment. But that's not the feeling your church members or even church visitors or guests will feel. In fact, Adam McLaughlin, another friend of ours who was on the show, and he's coming back in a couple of weeks, he posted on his Instagram stories, and this is what really got me thinking about it in combination with Jonathan's book. He posted on his Instagram story, and he said, what is the first thing you think of when you see a no food or drink sign? And of course, it's a question, so in the Instagram stories, you can actually answer it, and you can see that answer. The first thing that I actually thought of when I see a no food or drink sign walking into a sanctuary, my first thought is, what is my wife supposed to do with her water bottle? Is her water bottle okay? Are we okay being here? My wife is not like me. I like to just down the water. I like to just drink it. I will go a couple hours without drinking anything, and then I will down a whole bottle. And that's how I stay hydrated. My wife cannot physically work like that. She has to sip a bottle of water because she just can't drink a lot at one time. She physically can't. And so if you're asking her to come into a worship center, a sanctuary, and say, you're not allowed to drink for the next hour and a half, she's going to walk out of there dehydrated, and she's going to be feeling bad. So that's just the first thing that I think of. But let's take it to another level. Let's imagine For me, I imagine the places that I am not allowed to bring food or drink into. Okay, a church omitted. I want to think about the places that you cannot bring food or drink. The doctor's office, classroom. This might work for some people, it might not. Anyone have a grandmother or grandparents that you were not allowed to bring food or drink into the living room, right? She had like the lush white carpet, and it was stainless, and therefore you were not allowed to bring any food or drink into that room. Or maybe they wrapped the furniture in that cellophane, I think it was cellophane, or that plastic wrap, and you weren't allowed to do anything in that room because they had to keep it pristinely clean. So those are the things, those are all things that, the grandmother's house more when you're a kid, but the doctor's office, a classroom, those are things that aren't exactly connected with entertainment or good feelings or comfort, right? You go to the doctor's office because you're sick. You go to the classroom because you are learning, but learning is often not a comfortable process. Take that from a guy that took 5.5 years to get his degree, because that was uncomfortable at times, and I had to push through it. Now, on the flip side, let's look at places that are comfortable, that do allow food or drinks. Movie theaters. Of course, that's part of the experience. Ballparks, sports stadiums, that's part of the experience. And for me, my grandmother was my grandmother's house. Anywhere you would go, she'd always have food. She had a dish of candies in the living room. She had she always had something like a bag of chips sitting on the table in the TV room. In our bedroom, she had a little plate where if I was hungry, she would like bring a taco and just set it on the plate. Like, hey, I'm making tamales and here's the, whatever. Anywhere was game at grandma's house. And I felt comfortable there because I could eat in front of the TV. I could eat and play in my bedroom or, the guest room. Or I could eat and talk with others, my other family member, in the living room. And so I was comfortable there. And that's what I'm talking about when I say, what feelings are you invoking? Because when you put out a sign that says no food or drink, you are invoking the feeling of get ready to be uncomfortable. Get ready to follow a set of rules. Get ready to not live how you want because we're going to have some rules enforced here. Now, you do have to have rules enforced here, but food or drink, I question, is it really worth it to set that precedence of this may not be a comfortable place? Because movie theaters are pretty comfortable. And when I said that earlier, that you can drive past a movie theater to go to another movie theater that you like more, absolutely, that was our case. We would skip the big Cinemark in town that had the XD and all the candy you could ever want. We would skip that theater to go to a local theater called Grand Avenue in Belton. We would go there because the seats were more comfortable. They served more specialty foods. So Cinemark, you just had the typical movie theater food, but the Grand Avenue actually had like themed foods for what movies coming out. They had like an old-fashioned diner that you can come and you could just come eat there. You didn't even have to see a movie. You could just come sit and eat at the diner there. It was a comfortable place. And in fact, I even talked to the manager and I said, hey, I'm trying to eat healthier. Can I bring an apple instead of buying your candy? And he was like, yeah, sure, bring an apple. That's fine. Bring some Crystal Light, flavor your water with it. He was totally cool. And I felt very welcome there. So we would skip the big Cinemark to go to the local smaller theater. It was smaller, didn't have as many movies playing, but we were more comfortable there. And so no food or drink sign. I'm going to take a stance here and say, get rid of it. Take the hit, okay? Tell your congregation, hey guys, we're going to take the food or drink down. We really want to protect our investment of the carpet. We don't want to have to recarpet, just be careful. Make sure you have stuff with caps on it. But if you see someone drinking a cup of coffee in the sanctuary, it's probably their first time. They don't know any better. Instead of going and telling them, hey, no food or drink, go and tell them and introduce yourself because they're a new person because they don't know to bring food or drinks. Get rid of the sign. Let people be comfortable. And if you get rid of the sign and you need to replace your carpet, consider not replacing it with carpet. Go with something that you can easily clean up if there is a spill. Funny story, I actually spilled my communion juice on the carpet and it left a big old red stain. So it still happens even when there's no food or drink in the sanctuary. I spilled my Last Supper juice. So that's my thoughts here. So I haven't heard anyone explain it that way. Don't think about what you're saying. Think about how it makes people feel. No food or drink is really related to something that's going to make you uncomfortable. It's going to be somewhere that you have to go. It's going to be something that you might even dread. And I understand you're trying to be a good steward. You're trying to protect your investment. You're trying to make things look clean. and not, dirty, nasty like a nursery or a child's a child center or something like that. I get that. But the question is, what are you being a steward of? Are you being a steward of your things, or are you being a steward of people and saying you are welcome here, even if you have to carry around a bottle of water with you?